Yo, big up. Well, that took a long time to sort out. Anyway, here I am. What we're going to try and do right now is talk about some things that are going on football Twitter. That is basically the point of this. So, yeah, you just have to bear with me 1 second. I just want to check a few things because this whole thing has been messing up a lot. And it's been pissing me off, to be honest with you. This has really been annoying me, so just bear with me 1 sec. I am streaming as me, so that is good. That's what I wanted to see, and I hope my mic is working finally. We can actually finally get talking about stuff. AJ's there and he can hear me. Hopefully, AJ is able to hear me. Good stuff, man. Bloody good stuff. Right, okay, I am still being kind of like used to this all kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is, it's kind of hot in here, as you can tell. I hope we can chill. And what we're going to do is I am going to have a little look at Twitter because there's a lot of weird shit going on, as we know, in the football world in Twitter. So we're going to have a look at that in a little second. And there's a few tunes I want to play as well. I'm going to play a couple of nice drum and bass tunes as well as a kind of little interlude thing. But yeah, we're going to have a little look at what's happening on Twitter now. So it's kind of crazy. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to preface this. By saying I had a little break from football, like sort of football content, football kind of like online content and all this kind of stuff, because I just kind of get a bit bored of hearing the words Goicarez or Sesko or Leao or all this kind of stuff. I was kind of just annoyed of the whole thing. It was just kind of the same old thing over and over again. So it's kind of like, just give me some results and then we can kind of like talk from there. So anyway, we come a few days later and, I kind of did what I wanted to do in the other days and everything. And I just, obviously had the bug and missed the football. Like it does piss you off, but then when you go away from it for a few days, it kind of like you sort of get like a bit sort of the withdrawal symptoms in a way sort of thing. So when I went back for the first fucking time, I saw the fixtures. That was the thing. I saw the fixtures and I was kind of like, okay, the fixtures look kind of good to me. They look kind of decent because we've got the away teams who are very difficult first. I know we're away to Man City. We're away to Tottenham on February the 21st. And we're away to Man City on March the 18th. Other than that, our away games are pretty much stacked at the start of the season. Now, a lot of top gooners seem to think that this is, for some reason, a bad thing. I don't really get that. Like, it's kind of an IQ test. It's kind of like you give this scenario to someone and then they analyze the scenario and then you sort of like look at how they react to the scenario and, you look at their analysis sort of thing. And for me, if you're going to analyze being away at Liverpool, being away at Man United on the first day of the season, being away at, I think we're away at Newcastle and away at various teams in the first couple of months of the season, if you're going to analyze that and think that is, oh my God, PGMOL are against us, it is some kind of like, conspiracy to beat. No, this is actually a very good draw for us. And also, if your manager, Mikel Arteta, is as good as you continually espouse him to be, then what's the problem? What is the problem? Like, it doesn't matter, does it? It surely shouldn't matter whether we are away to it shouldn't matter because Mikel Arteta has apparently, potentially, in your opinion, brought us to the point where we are not really having to really consider about these kind of things. It doesn't matter when we play teams. We are such a superior team because of his excellent management, his amazing ability that we cannot continuously deny at all. It all seems a little bit airy-fairy and it seems a little bit incongruent and inconsistent. It's kind of like the way that people who like to claim that Arsenal are a big club, they like to claim that they believe that Arsenal are a big club, and yet they will still be satisfied with where we are at the moment. That doesn't really make much sense, because if you are thinking that Arsenal are a big club, i.e. we are actually still the third biggest club in England, and then you think, okay, so we've gone 5 years without a trophy. That isn't acceptable. And if you feel that that's acceptable, you can't think that we're a big club and feel that that's acceptable. So you sort of like, so it's either one or the other. So you sort of either think that, okay, we're not a big club anymore, so that's fine where we are, or you think we're a big club, we should be winning trophies, which is where I am, and I think which is where AJ is, and other facts, and other people who know their facts, sort of thing. So anyway, let's have a little look. I'm going to try and get little Twitter bits and pieces up. So yeah, I mean, Twitter's always kind of like interesting with this kind of stuff. I mean, for God's sake, look, I took like 4 days off looking at Twitter, and then I came back and I was like, oh my God, like everyone's so annoying. It's like, do you know what it is as well? Actually, before I do that, do you know what it is as well? Yeah, the fact that we are 8 days away from losing Party and Ethan. What's the Ethan thing? Losing Ethan, sorry. Because I know we're going to lose Party, and that's kind of been a bit of a grind for me, because like for me, Party's been like one of the driving forces of the last few seasons. Yes, he's made a few mistakes. Yes, look, people come on like online again on Twitter and all that, and they kind of say things like, oh, well, Party did this like in this particular game. Well, yes, okay, so you can apply it to Patrick Vieira. Everyone loves Patrick Vieira as a captain. I love Patrick Vieira as a captain. I grew up with him. Or Adams was my first captain, but Paddy was my second captain. Patrick Vieira made a massive mistake in the FA Cup semi-final when he tried to flick it over his head. He used to do this stuff all the time. So what Patrick Vieira had this little kind of, Patrick Vieira was like one of the greatest midfielders that Arsenal has ever seen. However, he had this little fatal flaw where he used to try and be a little bit too clever sometimes. And he always for some reason, chose the moment where it is the most like ill-effective to do it. And the most ill-effective moment that he chose to do it that lives in my memory is in the semi-final of the FA Cup against Man United. You remember the Giggs goal when Giggs went and ran and then shot, we all know that goal. We've seen it many, many times. That goal, if you track it back, came from Patrick Vieira trying to flick it over his head. That was a little move that he used to do all the time. And that used to annoy me a little bit. And I used to kind of say, this is going to fuck up sometime. And then, of course, like, we got away with it in league games against, I don't know, Leicester and Everton, whomever, no disrespect to them. But when it came to the crunch, and he did it again in an FA Cup semi-final, Giggs go down the other side of the fucking stadium, and bang, we've lost when we were at the semi-final. We don't win the FA Cup. And by the way, Man United are one FA Cup behind us, just to point that out. Man United are one FA Cup behind us. Ethan's contract is over June 30th. So what is it? I guess, I mean, like, to be fair, like, I don't see, like, so I saw on Twitter earlier about a few days ago, about MLS like signing a new contract and all that kind of thing. And I was thinking, well, obviously he's going to sign a new contract. And people were saying, oh, it's because of Mikel Arteta. He's signed. Well, it's not really like Mikel Arteta has played him. Don't get me wrong. He's had faith in him to play him, and I don't deny that. But Miles Lewis-Skelly is not signing a new contract with Arsenal because of Mikel Arteta. Miles Skelly is signing a new contract with Arsenal because this is what he's always fucking dreamed of. He's been with us since he was like goddamn 8 years old. And it just happens that Mikel Arteta gave him his chance and everything has come this way. So I see people trying to reframe this as, again, oh, this manager, oh, he's so generational and amazing. Look at MLS, he has these options with Real Madrid. He could go to Real Madrid or to wherever potentially. No, that's not true. He is definitely wanting to stay with us. And look, MLS was probably on, I don't actually know, so people can correct me if I'm wrong, but like MLS was probably on a very small amount per week. And I say small amount, it's probably like sort of 5, 10K, maybe 20K or whatever, max per week. We're probably putting him on, I would guess, I don't even know what we're, AJ, do you know what is he going on per week? What is MLS? Let's have a look at that, actually. Let's have a look. What is MLS's new contract? Because I actually literally don't know. Lewis Skelly. I don't actually know what he is going on per week. Now, why isn't the Daily Mail? Fuck off, Daily Mail. Dickheads. 18 years old. What are you dickheads for? Right, that doesn't tell me anything. Well, yeah, AJ, yeah, AJ, look, listen, yeah, would it be as good as Ashley Cole? They're a little bit different, aren't they? But they still bring the ball out and they've got that ball handling capability and they've got that kind of ball retention capability. They've got that strength. They've got that kind of like on the ball capability that, you never got with a Nigel Winterburn or people like that back in the day. I suppose that like when we moved on from like the old back four, the traditional back four, and we moved to sort of like people like Ashley Cole and all that kind of conveyor belt that we had at left back in those times. It was a little bit different to what we were used to. Yeah, that's interesting. I think he could be. The thing is, like, he's not as good as he is at left back. He's not necessarily. I don't think he should be used as left back. I think like what I see with Lewis Skelly is like a good amount of strength and a good amount of ball carrying ability. And whilst that's useful at left back, and also he has a good good tackle pause. I think he's better used in midfield if we can fit him in. But Arteta, I don't know. We don't see any evidence that Arteta's trying to do that. So speaking of MLS, by all reports, he gets the now available number 3. Oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, if they gave him the number 3, do you think he'd accept the number 3? It's interesting, isn't it? That's an interesting conversation because like MLS obviously grew up through the Arsenal ranks being a midfielder. He's now made it into the first team, which is obviously his dream. He dreamed to be in the first team of Arsenal, as you would, as a midfielder. However, his dream has been realised and materialised as a left back. So then he's been offered the number 3, as you're saying. Is that kind of almost like a double-edged sword for him? Is it like, look, any of us would accept that. Do you know what I mean? Like we're accepting playing for Arsenal at left back. It doesn't matter what the number is. I mean, I was a bit of a Gilberto Silva who could cross type player. I was like a central defensive midfielder who couldn't pass, couldn't dribble. I could pass very well actually, but I couldn't dribble for shit. And so basically, my job was to sort of like outmuscle people, get the ball back, and pass to people who could actually play, or play a through ball that could make something happen. And then I would take all the corners and all the free kick, all the dead balls, basically, because I was the best like on the ball. So I was a bit of a weird player. I was kind of like a cross between Silva and Beckham, if we were going to be kind of like, ostentatious about it, sort of thing. But like Miles Lewis, yeah, I mean, I would be happy for him to keep the left back position because, like, who's better? Like, even though he isn't a fucking left back, that's the funny thing about Arsenal. We've had Arteta's been here for so long that who is better. He's had so many attempts at making a left back. Who is actually better than Miles Lewis Skelly, who was kind of fortuitously come along as a left back? Because Arteta has tried X, B, C, D, E, and then we get to M, and Miles Lewis Skelly is almost like an accident, basically. He's like a fucking adoption. He's like an adoption. Like me, I'm adoption. My mum was 13 when she made me. I wasn't meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Miles Lewis Skelly is an adoption. And Arteta's like, okay, that's cool. And it's kind of mad to think, it's like, all right, so now what do we do with Calafiori? And now I see Arsenal fans saying, oh, well, Calafiori is better than Gabriel. And it's like, whoa. You're telling me now that sort of MLS has established his place to a certain degree, and you can't really say anything about him because this, that, or the other. Now you're saying that he's someone like Ricardo Calafiori is better than Gabriel? I don't know. Maybe it's shooting. Maybe it's shooting, man. I don't know. It's anyway. My I was supposed to be putting up Twitter. So do you know what? let's just see what football Twitter is saying. I'm going to like push this out to a new window and share the screen. What I'm going to do is I am going to look at a few things on Twitter, and then I'm going to play a tune, a drum and bass tune for like 6 minutes, which will probably get me like demonetized because it's going to be copyright. And then I'll be back. So anyway, let's have a look at what people are saying, because people say a lot of stupid things. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. People say a lot of stupid things. Let's try to have a look here. Let's look what's going on. Conf. Why is this thing? So now it's not showing me. Oh, hi, here we go. Here we go. I know how to do this. Yes. So anyway, not grok. So what I wanted to show was like we see a lot of weird things. So like let's have a little look at all this kind of stupid shit. Blah blah blah. Let's just get rid of this. Dum 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 dum. So basically, look, one of these things. This is one of the things that pissed me off earlier. So I got in a bit of a sort of conflation with this guy, contributor. But the first person, this guy here, is an Arsenal fan, allegedly an Arsenal fan. So he says, "I will be happy. I hope this can be. I hope you can see this all right." We say, "I will be happy if Liverpool sign Isaac and blah blah blah, because it means Arteta will never win anything. Because it means Arteta will never win anything significant with Arsenal." Now, look, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a massive Mikel Arteta fan. I'm not oblivious. Also, juxtapositionally, I'm not oblivious to the good stuff that he has done. I'm not trying to deny the good stuff that he has done with this club. However, I just don't think he's good enough to take Arsenal Football Club forward to what we should be doing. I don't think that's a controversial or stupid or whatever opinion. However, when somebody, what I've highlighted now, says because it means Arteta will never win anything significant with Arsenal, and it's a pray emoji, and he's an Arsenal fan, that's not for me, man. That's not for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't like Arteta. I don't think he should be Arsenal manager. But at the same time, I'm not going into next season thinking, oh, I hope he loses, because I don't want Arsenal to lose. I can't. Like, how can I want Arsenal to lose? I've been supporting this club since 1993, for fuck's sake. And you want, like, there's no scenario where I want him to lose. I don't like him. I think he's got an unearned arrogance. I think he's not quite ready. I think, like, obviously what should have happened is he should have gone somewhere else and like built his trade up. I think that's very obvious now, and I think he's kind of clinging on. I think it's very obvious that he's clinging on, and I think that this is obviously the make or break season. But like, I'm not going to say that like I want Arsenal to lose. How the fuck am I going to say that shit? Like, this is just ridiculous, man. And yeah, I want Arteta out. Let me just share this because here we go. Look. I want Arteta out as much as the next fan. He definitely has some good, but he's not good enough. Exactly. That's exactly my point. And that is the point that I try to make to people. It's like, I am not trying to say that he's shit. Maybe he will go somewhere else. Like Kenny made a good point. I don't know, AJ, if you saw, it's kind of like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, probably now. Kenny and I think DJB and a couple of other people were on with Lee. And Kenny, come on, it was his turn to talk, and he was making the point that, like, sometimes players just need something a little bit different. They just need a different voice. They just need a different approach. They just need something. They just need a refreshing. And I think we're getting to that point now. And like, you probably agree with me, and like other people have agree with us whose content we watch. It's like maybe like last season, the season before, he should have gone. However, here we are. So we can't change that. Like, I'm not one of these people who believes that we should kind of like, debate whether he should go or not now, because there's just no point. He's obviously not going to go before the start of the season. So we should sort of, the debates that we should have should calibrate to the reality that we have. Like, yes, obviously, probably you and me and a lot of other people who agree that he should fuck off. But he's not going to. He's not going to be fired. So definitely. Let me just have a look. Sorry, I'm reading as we go along. Blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly. So like it just sort of like came along too early for him, and it does make me wonder what the sort of contacts were. Was it just naivety on the Kroenke's part? And I'm not trying to defend them or anything. I'm not trying to sort of like big them up because come on, Kroenke's a fucking, you know, they've really made a crutch for this. They've really fucked this club up over the past 20 years. And look, by the way, AJ, if you want to jump on the stream, I can send you the link. If you want, let me know. I can put the link in the chat, and you can jump on, and we can have like a we can just chat. But if you want to just chat here, that's fine. That's no problem. But yeah, I mean, the Kroenkes have been here for a long time, and we all see now. I think we all see now what the modus operandi is for them: finishing the top four. Just finishing the top four. It doesn't matter. I mean, people may claim that we misquote them when they said, "Oh, well, we don't want to win the trophies." Well, the evidence suggests that they don't want to win trophies. Well, they're not bothered about winning trophies, sort of thing. So, you know, it's a bit of a tricky one. For me personally, okay. So, AJ, let me throw this back at you. Actually, just as a question to you, do you think, let's say, because I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom, so have a little think and then reply, and then I'll come back and we'll keep chatting. If we go the rest of the season, no trophy, no FA Cup, no Carabao, no European Champions League, no league title, do you think come May next year, the Kroenkes will pay off his last year of his contract and get rid of him? Or do you think that they will keep him on for his final year? Because that's a bit of a tentative point. So I'll chuck that question to you. I'm going to quick run to the bathroom and I will be back. 1 second. So yeah, my opinion on what's happening with the whole Berta situation is I think Berta has been brought in to initially ensure that Arteta has no excuses, gets his players, and then he has a chance to sort of prove himself. Now, my sort of problem with that is that, like, I'm not sure how long they want to give him. Do they want to give him a season? Do they want to give him 2 seasons? My sort of like back of the head sort of like scenario is like he has got another year left on his contract after the end of this coming season. So I kind of have the worry that they are just going to let the contract roll out. To be honest with you, so I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, like, I feel like Berta's coming to ensure that Arteta gets his players for this season. Obviously, we've got a couple of months left. I didn't really get a chance to talk so much about it on Aaron's chat. But yeah, I think he's coming to do that, so Arteta doesn't have excuses. But whether Arteta has a year or 2 years left is a bit up for debate. It wouldn't surprise me if the Cronkies think, oh, well, even after this season, if we don't win anything, given another season, he's got 1 year left of his contract. It wouldn't surprise me if we went round to the end of 2026 and then he goes. If he doesn't win anything by next June, then he's gone, basically. I think he knows that as well. I think he knows sorry, hang on a second. Let me think about this. 2027, sorry. I think he's got until max 2027. If he doesn't win anything, I don't think they're going to keep him on, even though he's keeping us in the top 4. And this is the other thing, isn't it? The top gooners say that, oh, well, he's got us back challenging and all this kind of stuff. But what you have to remember is that it's the bare minimum for us. Challenging and not winning anything is the bare minimum. And like, people might disagree with that, but it is the bare minimum. That's what we build from as a club, supposedly. And people have got misled by everything that's happened over the last 20 years to think that we're not. Literally, I'm told on Twitter now. I have interactions on Twitter. Let me see if I can find this interaction. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see. Actually, yeah, exactly, man. Look, give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can find this interaction with this guy. It's fucking funny, man. He says that he doesn't think Arsenal are a big club. He's supposedly an Arsenal fan. How can you be an Arsenal fan and not think that Arsenal are a big club? It's kind of a weird juxtaposition. If I can find it, I've got, let's see, a few little replies here. You just bear with me 1 sec. But yeah, there's so many things like this happening now. Fuck, I might have gone past it. Sorry. Sometimes difficult to find these things. Bollocks, I can't find it for some reason. I've had a few comments like this. Do you know one of the weirdest comments I had, man? Okay, I have a question. Before I get into that, let's have a look at this question. I think if we finish, I think the whole thing for the Kroenkes is that we have to finish top 4, and that's why Wenger was outed and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think that. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'll be back in sort of 1 minute. Sorry, man. 1 second. Where's my thing? Yeah. So anyway, what were we saying? So yeah, it's an interesting question. Okay, so number one, Okay, so I will answer this question, but what do you think? So put in the thing, what do you think? I think if we don't get Champions League next season and we win nothing, but we finish in the top four, he doesn't get sacked. Dependent on the fans' reaction. I think if the fans' reaction is really harsh, which I don't really think it's going to be, it might be a bit harsh. There might be a few bums off seats sort of thing, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. Even next season with no trophies. That's how kind of low we've become. Like I could go through my Twitter account and I could show you the shit that people are saying to me about Arsenal in terms of just how low they rate the club. Like I've made this point for quite a few. Look, I was one of the first people to call the Arteta thing a cult, and Lee Gunner like I'm not saying that Lee Gunner saw what I was saying, but like he started saying that as well. A bit after me. It was quite a few weeks after me, and I've said a few things, and then they've become things that are being said by people who are kind of like quite high up, like Lee Gunner or what's his name, Curtis Shaw as well. So but it was obvious because I work in psychiatry. I've been working in psychiatry for 20 years, and a lot of the things that the Arteta fans do are in alignment with the symptoms and behavioral traits of people who are locked into sort of cultist type activation circumstances. So, for example, they have. So, for example, there's certain phrases like we have process, phases, and this kind of stuff. And most recently, it was unprecedented. So, what they do in these, so there's a very nice. I mean, like AJ, you know this stuff anyway. Like you're in the community. You know your stuff. You've got a brain that works. And but anyway, for people who aren't, for people who are kind of new to this or new to these opinions, what I would say is like what the Kroenkes do and what they're very good at doing is it's not necessarily winning trophies with Arsenal, although they win trophies with their other clubs. But they are very good at the public relations. They are very good at pushing a certain thing. And Arsenal just made the first profit for a very long time that just came out a few months ago. So this is what they want to do. This is not like this is not a mission. This is not like if I was to become a billionaire and take over Arsenal, the trajectory of Arsenal will be very, very different. Me being a billionaire and owning Arsenal versus the Kroenkes being billionaires and owning Arsenal are two very different universal trajectories. I'm kind of like a little bit confused how the Kroenkes can keep this going for much longer. That's my thing. I think that this is why I kind of put max 2 years on it, because you have to, like, when you're a rich person, I'm not a rich person, but like when you're like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, people are going to start taking the piss like about certain things. Like, okay, you could own 5 teams. So let's say you own a football team, a basketball team, an NFL team, a baseball team, and blah blah blah. If your football or soccer team, soccer is an invention of the English, by the way, so it's not American. Anyway, it's the same person who invented the term rugby. So it's very English. Soccer is actually a very English phraseology. So if you're in that situation and you've got all these things going on that are successful and that you are being kind of like dominant over, why aren't you being like that with Arsenal? They are not like they are not with Arsenal like they are with their other teams, and I don't know why that is. I really don't know why that is. Yeah, man. Stan and Josh users. So yeah, what's that all about, AJ? By the way, I love the fact that you're using the original badge. Stan and Josh uses for 2 loans for American teams. And yeah, so I've heard this before. Like they use us for they use our money to sort of finance the other teams. But there comes a point where surely you're kind of like pissed off with that. Like, surely, I don't know, man. What do you think about that, AJ? What do you think about that? I'm going to have a little look. I'm going to try and find the sort of tweet that I wanted to find before. If you can maybe have a think about your reply to that. Okay, so whoops, a daisy. Okay, all right, cool, man. Like, fucking hell. Do you know what? My original thing was to be an NBA player. Like, I wanted to be an NBA player. I had trials with Sheffield Sharks in London. I'm not actually that tall. I'm bang on 6 foot, basically. Like, if you put the thing on me, I'm like literally bang on 6 foot. No shoes. So yeah, no, that was my thing, and I went to Loughborough University to just do some trials and sort of thing with it wasn't really it was kind of it was trials. It wasn't called trials. It was kind of clearly trials. They were watching players and all that kind of stuff. And basically what pissed me off about it, I was about 13, 14 years old, is like they would like take the tallest players, no matter how shit they were. They would take the top. So there was a guy who was a floppy haired guy, had like that curtain hair. He was fucking terrible. He couldn't dribble. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't even fucking lay up. He was about 6'3" at 14. He was shit, man. He couldn't hustle. He couldn't even hustle. He had no strength, no layup ability, no slam dunk, no shot ability, no passing ability, no dribbling ability, no nothing. But guess what? Because he was 6'3" at 14 years old, Sheffield Sharks manager, who was running the whole thing at Loughborough University, took his details down. It's crazy as fuck, man. It's crazy as fuck how these things work. You know, I'm not saying that I'm like, okay, I should have deserved to get in ahead of him and stuff, because like I played okay in that trial, but I could have played a bit better. You know, it was at a point where I was a bit more of I was changing my game, if you know what I mean. I was changing from a center to a fucking to a sort of small. I guess in basketball, I was a small forward. One of my favorite players was Jason Williams. I don't know if AJ. I don't know if you're aware of the basketball. If you're aware of like basketball in the 90s, late 90s and stuff. Like Jason Williams is one of the most underrated basketball players ever. Anyway, basketball, blah blah blah. I'm digressing a little bit. I can't even remember what the fuck I was talking about. But yeah, so what do I think I was going to use? I hate because I never why don't they? Yes, AJ knows Jason Williams, man. AJ knows Jason Williams, man. Do you know what? J Will. Yes, you know J Will, man. You know J Will. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. This man is one of the most, I don't know. I don't want to say underrated, because he's not underrated in terms of people who know him, but he's underrated because he's not well known, if you know what I mean. He's just not a known player. Like if you look at his highlight reel, it just takes you back to the good old fucking classic days of the late 90s when basketball was fucking great. And you know, yeah, J Will was white chocolate, man. AJ smashed it out of the park with that one. I'm really glad you said that, man. I'm really like happy you said that, because Jason Williams is one of my favorite basketball players. And when I say that to people who claim that they know about basketball and claim that they know about basketball back into the 90s or the early 90s as well, they don't know who he is. It's like, how can you claim to be somebody who's been following basketball since like 1992, 93, and you don't know who J Will is? You don't know who number 55 for Sacramento is? Like, come on, man. Dickheads. Pisses me off. You know what I mean? That's de-threaded me slightly from the Arsenal chat, but like, no, I'm glad you like him. He's such a sick player. Some of those passes were absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of the great ball hand. Yeah, absolutely. Pause. Absolutely amazing. Like simple. So the elbow pass, like it took me so. Well, actually, to be fair, I wasn't too bad. It didn't take me too long to perfect the elbow pass. But the thing is, you perfect the elbow pass just walking along the street or walking. I used to just dribble the ball along the street or whatever. But perfecting the elbow pass in the middle of a game to get it to your player in a particular position, that's a whole different story. You can do the elbow pass. I can walk along and just go, ding. I can move my, because it's all about the movement, really, of the. That's fine. I can do that as an example. But like to do that in a game and to get that into the player's arms is fucking sick. Jason Williams, man, a massively, massively underrated basketball player. And people go, oh, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Like, I'm not saying he's up there with Michael Jordan. I'm not saying he's a Kobe, but as a ball, like you say, AJ, as a ball handler, pause. Name me a better ball handler. Name me a better ball handler. Because Jordan, Bryant, they were the all-rounders. Shaq, blah blah blah. But as a specific ball handler, as someone who made those passes, who's better? I will sit back and let people like AJ. If we had a chat full of like fucking 1,000 people, I don't think anyone would be able to name someone who's a better ball handler than this bloke. Man. Seriously, and he's just a forgotten guy. And it's kind of like I know he's done well, obviously, out of his career and stuff. I'm not trying to say that he's like being left by the wayside monetarily. I'm sure he's financially very safe, but it's for me it was the good old days. You know what I mean? It's the good old days. Good old days. The only one I think is better than Jason Williams is Stephen Curry. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of Stephen Curry to potentially comment on that. I want to be like, I've got to be kind of like totally honest on that sort of thing. Yeah, I've not seen enough of. Obviously, I know what Curry is capable of, and I've seen what he's capable of. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like Jason was always my thing. But then I'm kind of biased, aren't I? I'm biased. Like Jason was my thing from like sort of 98, 99. Like I was almost on the verge of getting a frigging Sacramento Kings vest, which was crazy for me because I'm a Lakers fan. Not because of them winning anything, just because I just loved. Shaq and Kobe. And I just kind of like wanted to, Shaq, Kobe, and we had like the small forward who used to be the actor, and then we had Nick Van Exel, and oh god, my mind goes a little bit. Sorry, but yeah, so yeah, I just Jason Williams is one of them little like street ballers, isn't he? Like he's got the skills, and he backs it up. Anyway. Let's go on with the what I was going to do. I kind of forgot what I was going to do. Sorry, unless we forgot. We got talking about good basketball stuff. Just bear with me one sec. I want to find this one where someone says like we're not a big club. Because that really irritates me, man. Like, so I'll stop scrolling here because I think one of the big problems about Arsenal at the moment, in terms of holding the club accountable, in terms of progressing the club. When I say progressing, I mean like getting us back from where we were to where we should be, which is kind of progress. Regression. Not regress, but like whatever. Let's just call it progress. I think it's very difficult now because a lot of fans see us as not a big team, and that's a realization that I was going to talk about on Orange Channel. Unfortunately, we had to end earlier. But I don't know, AJ. What do you think? I mean, I feel like. I mean, do you feel with your interactions with people on Twitter and stuff? I feel that they don't think that Arsenal are a big club. And I think that they kind of are accepting where we are because they feel like, okay, well, Mikel Arteta, he's got us back challenging and this is okay. And they don't realize that back challenging is kind of like the bare minimum of Arsenal Football Club. It should be the bare minimum for us. And that's not us trying to take the piss, because we remember, and like, I don't know how old you are, AJ, but like, you obviously are aware of the history of the club. And this is, again, another thing that pisses me off. Like, I had this thing, again, I'm trying to find all these little conversations. It's a little bit difficult, but one conversation I was having with a guy, and he was saying that, oh, well, I'm sorry that I wasn't born at the same time as you. Well, it's not really about being born at the same time as me. It's like, when I was 10 years, so I started supporting Arsenal in 1993. I was 9 years old. I had no internet. There was no internet at the time or anything like that. But I said to my parents, I was kind of like, this is like, is there any kind of like book that I can read about it? So they, for my birthday, ended up getting me the history of Arsenal, the hardback history of Arsenal, which was full of like great pictures and everything about how we were like Dal Square FC, how it progressed to Woolwich and Royal Arsenal, then Woolwich, and to where we are, like today. Well, obviously not like, at that time it progressed to about 1995. But it was very, very fascinating for me as a young child, as a 9, 10-year-old. It was very, very fascinating to see what was the history of Arsenal and see the pictures of it as well. And that was hard for us to get. That was a book that you had to go to Waterstones or whatever to buy the book. Like, at that time we had the internet, but it wasn't really, it wasn't the internet that we have now. It didn't have the breadth. It wasn't the sea that we have now. But these days, they have all the internet sea that they can desire. And yet nobody seems to really know too much about the club. Nobody seems to really want to know about the history of the club. And then if you try to kind of like say to them about, well, this is Arsenal, this is traditionally, a very big club, and we're one of the biggest in the world, or we're the third biggest in the country. And you sort of say all this kind of stuff to them. It sort of like washes over them, because they haven't done the learning. Like, you don't need to be like I was 9 years old in 1993, but Arsenal had been around for 100 years at that point. I still took it upon myself, minus the internet, to go and find a book via my parents buying it, to then learn about the history of Arsenal. So why do these men now just sit there and go, oh, well, that was 20 years ago, it doesn't matter? It's crazy, man. It's craziness. Okay, so AJ, I'd ask you, just out of interest, what was your first? What, actually, do you know what? What made you? Do you know? Let me. I'm going to find one of these stupid Arsenal fan posts that I was trying to find before I went on a tangent. But I'm interested, like, what made you support Arsenal? What was your like, is it your dad who supports Arsenal, or brothers, or friends, or something like that? What is it? Be interested to know, man. I'll tell you mine when you tell me yours, sort of thing. Because mine's really weird. Well, it's not that weird, but it's a bit weird, unusual. It does look like some of the replies have been deleted, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, that's funny, man, because that was like such a horrible game as well. Like, we played so badly. Like I remember that. I remember watching that at the Three Compasses, a long turnpike lane, just about a 10-minute walk from where I sit right now. It's a pub just down the road, and it's changed a lot since then. It's not as good, basically. Um, yeah, there was about 8 of us who were Arsenal fans, and then one was a Man United fan, and that wasn't a good night for him. And he's not an alcohol drinker as well. We were all alcohol drinkers, so yeah, that wasn't a great night for him. Um, but it was a good night for us. We totally and utterly did not deserve to win that FA Cup, but fucking hell, who cares, man? But at that time, the thing is, like AJ, I don't know how old you were at that time, but the year before that, and I've said this on Aaron's stream as well, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but the year before that, in 2004, on the last day of the season in May against Leicester, we won 2-1, and we got our invincible season. Me and my friend Pete and a few other people at the 12 Pins pub just outside Finsbury Park tube station celebrated that wildly. We were celebrating that for hours and hours. That was in 2004, August. If you'd have said to us at that time, if you'd have come up to us at that time and said, okay, enjoy this, enjoy the next few weeks, enjoy the next few months, enjoy the next few years even, because you are not going to win another title. You're not going to win another European, you're not going to win a European trophy for at least 20 plus years. We would have just laughed at you. We would have laughed at you because we thought at that point we were on the verge of world domination. That was our mindset at that point, that we were on the verge of world domination. And why wouldn't we? We just finished invincible. When you finish invincible in the league, in the Premier League, which at the time was the best league in the world, it's not now, in my opinion. It's maybe La Liga. I know Liga says it's 100% La Liga. I think it's probably slightly. I agree with him, but I think we're probably less close in our opinion. I'm also a Real Betis fan as well as Arsenal. I'm Arsenal since 1993, so that's the wife, and Real Betis is the mistress in a way since 2001. Jesus Christ, is it 2001? Oh, I'm old. Yes, it's been a long time. So anyway, so Arsenal's the wife, Betis is the mistress, and I go over to Betis. I go over to Seville every year to see Betis play. Yeah, and even the Betis fans are more, for me, they're more demanding of success than the Arsenal fans, even though that sounds crazy. Because, like not many people really know much about Betis. And, when they were playing Chelsea in the final, it was kind of like, oh, it's like silly little team that no one knows. And in the end, they fucked it up. I was very annoyed with that game against Chelsea. I was really, really pissed off, man. So pissed off about the game. So I thought we were going to win. I thought we were going to beat Chelsea, and I was going to be able to. Because at my gym, there's a load of fucking guys who are Chelsea fans, and I was looking forward to wearing my fucking Betis kit in amongst them at halftime when we were 1-0 up. Anyway, yeah, obviously it didn't work out. Betis is a good club to support. Their fans are pleasantly crazy, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I think that La Liga is probably slightly better than the Premier League now. But anyway, I can't remember what my original point was. So you would have been 5 when we won the FA Cup against Man United. Yeah, I mean, look, you didn't miss much in terms of the game. Like, it was a horrible game. We were terrible in that game. We absolutely deserved. If we'd have lost 5-0 in that game against Man United in the FA Cup final, we wouldn't have been able to complain. But somehow we managed to sort of wangle it on in penalties. But that's it. That's the thing. That's football for you, isn't it? That is football for you. But yeah. So where do you live, man? Are you in North London? Or are you sort of like, I don't know if you mentioned it before. Sorry. Are you kind of like outside of London, or whereabouts are you? I'm going to try and find this fucking thing. Whilst you answer that, I'm going to try and find this fucking thing I was trying to find. Oh, people say stupid shit like this. Look at this stupid shit. Party lost us the league at West Ham. All right, okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. We all have a go party. That's fine. I hate it when they say things like that because it's like, overall, the teams should be doing better. If there are individual mistakes, they should be covered by the fact that the team is good enough to cover them. If you know what I mean? I don't know if I explained that particularly well. But yeah, it just annoys me, man. It annoys me, man, that we are. Okay, man. East London, man. Yeah. Big up East London. I do go out raving a little bit to East London. It's kind of more east-south. It's more towards the like E1, Shadwell. Fucking awful place, to be honest with you. I don't know if you've ever been down Shadwell. It ain't a great place. Let's be fair. Shadwell is not the best. Shadwell is not the best place in London. But everything's boarded up. I don't know if you've been down there, but everything's fucking boarded up. You come out the tube station, take a right, and then like I remember going on Google Maps. I was on my own one time. I was going down to a rave to E1. I was like, okay, I'm on my own. So I was like, okay, let me have a look. Let me see if there's a pub here or there. I can have a couple of drinks before I go to the club. Every single time I pinpointed on my Google Maps a pub to have a drink, I went to the pub and then the pub was shut down. I was like, for fuck's sake, it was boarded up, literally boarded up, like wooden boards. And it was kind of like, fucking hell, man. This place is like derelict. I don't know what the point. I actually don't know what the point of Shadwell is. Even the Christian church was boarded up. So there you go. I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious. I believe in like God and a higher power, but like I'm not religious. But even the Christian church was boarded up. When you have a church, when a church is boarded up, then you know you're running into a little bit of difficulty. Also, AJ, are you near? You're more near Essex. Are you more of an Essex boy? Do you know what makes it? Do you know what I want to do now? Let me think of. You made me think of Jason Williams highlights clips. $14 million views, you know.
The nightly highlight shows from coast to coast.
Sacramento with numbers. Williams pushing it. Line pass to Anderson for the reverse.
If you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. You can see that coming a mile away.
Starting to be productive again.
Jason Williams sets up D-Bots with the showtime look.
You miss one, you come right back and take the next one.
Nice feed from Williams to Williamson.
Needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end, but this is the kind of game.
3-on-2 break for the Kings.
Weber's got to run.
Oh, Anderson put it in behind the back, the wraparound from Jason Williams. And it's Vanderbilt off the showtime pass by Jason Williams.
Bibby again through the legs. Stolen. Jason Williams.
Oh, what a pass!
Are you kidding me?
Oh, man, on his back. How did he see him there?
Well, his name is Jason Williams. That's why. He did it again.
His pass is stolen away, and it's Williams again. Working on Chapman behind the back. Beauty, phenomenal pass to Weber.
What a great pass.
Did not let his man in that situation. Gasol, oh, nice. And Jason Williams found Battier and tight who rolled it home. And look at Jason Williams. Left Andre Miller in the lurch. Who found Shane Battier.
Good deal. So, with his first block shot of the night, Haslam with a dunk on the other end.
That may have been a
pass by Williams. Pause on it. Here comes Jason Williams. Beauty to Tony Dell. Pulls it away. Here he comes again behind the back. Dell.
That's a simple one. That's just a simple one. That's an easy.
Jason Williams back-to-back beauty feeds.
The Warriors wasted time there. Too deliberate. And a nice feed from Jason Williams to Thunderbird.
Really rotating over and making it difficult for Nash to get down the lane.
I mean, it takes like a fucking, that's almost like a technical foul.
10 points for Battier on the assist by Jason Williams.
Unbelievable.
Jason Williams.
He's such an underrated, he's such a non-known player. So.
For the 15th time, Anderson is with Jason. Jason Williams setting up Nick Anderson.
Jason Williams feeds a great bullet inside. Pollard got position for a deep jump hook. He's had 5 in one game.
Look out. Pass it to himself. Laid it in.
Nice and easy.
Even the Warrior fans are going crazy on that move. And the Kings are up 5.
Williams.
I'm going to let this run. Just going to go to the bathroom. Yeah, actually, I want to see this. Anyway, I'm going to let this run. I'll be back in one.
Look at the Gasol.
And it'll be J. Will with Mike Miller. Got it back. Battier. Yes.
Williams. Nicely done to Weber.
Weber now from the baseline. Yes.
3-on-3. Jason pulls up. Hesitation. Drives into the lane. Behind the shoulder. Flip to the corner. 2-pointer. Corbin good. Jason now pulls up at the right elbow. Hesitates. Attacks the lane. Feeds Weber. Power jam.
J. Will with 5 seconds. Wrap around into Lorenzen. Tough jump hook in traffic to J. Will. Jason, no look to Powell. There you go.
Rebound comes off the Lorenzen right. Williams leaks out, finds Battier.
Humble. He was happy that somebody took notice of his improvement. Oh no! Marion again! His third dunk!
Hey, look at J. Will going behind the back. Get up and throw down, Matrix.
5.5 minutes. Christie hooks it away. Look at the pass to Stojakovic. You don't do it any better than that.
Keeping the Lakers alive. Here's Jason down the lane behind the back feed.
21-15. Oh, what a pass to Williamson. Oh, boy. You love that, don't you, Reggie?
And Darrell Wright got there and did it twice. Wow. What a play by Wright. Wade, what a play end to end for Miami.
Don't they? Bob Gasol, Jason Williams, and Battier. Williams on the steal. He feeds Gasol. And one.
Shaq had those 19 in a row.
Whoa! What a play!
Good pitch out.
Here comes one.
So are you a basketball player as well, AJ? Did you play ball? I've got a basketball court right next to my fucking house, and I don't go there. It's ridiculous.
Turnover number 9. Right back come the Kings. Williams hooks to Pollard. 2-hand stop from the left.
Here comes Williams. Oh, no look pass. You better be alert with Williams handling the ball. Another no look. And missed by Abdul Wahed. Well, he's become a cult hero. They say already in New York that his jersey outsells anyone in the country now that Michael's gone.
3 even at 13 apiece. Jason Williams wide open inside Weber.
Did you catch that as well? They say that Jason Williams' jersey outsells Michael Jordan's jersey. Now that, you know, at that point, Jordan was like close to retirement or retired. I'm not sure exactly when this was shot. That Jason Williams' jersey outsold Jordan's jersey. That's a hell of a thing, man. Especially in North Carolina. You know, in North Carolina is like Jordan's territory, of course.
Tomahawk whip.
Yeah, AJ, my main thing was playing basketball when I was a kid. I was supposedly going to be a basketball player and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not entirely sure because I'm still used to this YouTube thing. What happens if I pause this? And well, I guess that I talk now and this stops when I talk.
Jason gets his 9th assist.
Behind the back to Divac from Williams.
He throws to Jason. Oh, brilliant pass to Divac for a power jam.
Chris Webber has it behind the back, bounce pass right back to Weber for the dunk on the feed from Williams, and Jason Williams looks over at us and winks.
Yep, and I winked right back at him.
Numbers for Memphis. White jerseys down the floor. Console.
Richardson dribbled that ball off his foot. Dante Jones jumping over Dunleavy at the turnover. Here's Jason Williams.
You know, it took me fucking ages to figure out that Jason. Well, not ages to figure it out. I knew how to do it, but it took me ages to actually perfect doing the Jason Williams like behind the back elbow pass. So essentially, you don't really pass the ball. You just like hang the ball and you hit it with your elbow and turn your body. But it takes you ages to figure that out because like it just doesn't seem like that when you watch it in motion. But you just sort of need to sort of like slow things down and then watch it. But when he does that kind of like behind the back and then it kind of like flicks it back with the elbow pass, I'm not sure if we've seen it in this. Sorry, I don't really remember. We've got 7 minutes more of this. So I'm gonna play the whole of it because it's all great. But yeah, so I think he does it in one of those. Anyway, who cares?
That gets a rise out of the crowd.
Now Williams storms it up.
Divac goes down at the other end of the floor.
Abdul Wahed dumps the pass underneath to Williamson. He lays it in. And that play had everything.
That's exactly what he is. He's going to get shots and he's going to get points.
Jason Williams, a nice handoff to Williamson. And a foul.
Yeah, man, AJ, look, like this guy, like imagine playing with this guy on your team. Like, you could be in any fucking position. Literally, you could be in any position. And he's going to find you, isn't he? He finds a way to find you.
Williams against Jones.
Got to make him go right.
There's Weber with a dunk.
At the baseline, he spins, he frees up, he throws to Jason on the left baseline. Poe goes into the lane, back to Weber, reverse jam. Oh, what a clinic the Kings put on with that sequence.
What a pass! Jason Williams putting the needle to Vlade Divac.
Behind the back pass to Divac, and it's a block by Mutombo.
And the Knicks with a 1-point lead. O'Neal running the floor nicely.
Fucking always forget that Shaq played for the Heat, man.
Jason Williams with his second steal this first quarter. Behind his back for a Haslam stuff. This is Round Cult Night. Hope you enjoy the beautiful halftime ceremony schedule. Oh, what a beautiful pass.
Wow, that was pretty. Jay Will hit Barron.
Jay Will, nice behind the back flip for the Earl Barron dunk.
And Jamison.
Here's Jay Will, nice flip. Ricky Davis on the finish.
Because the Pistons are shorthanded without the presence of Rip Hamilton. Here's Williams. He got the step behind the back to Haslam when he knocks it down. You have to put Nowitzki back in that pick and roll.
Oh, what a pass!
This is back in the good old days of basketball, by the way. Like, so actually, also, like the good old days always seem to be like the mid to late 90s or just the 90s in general. I mean, it's kind of like when even you think of movies. Aren't movies the best in the 90s? I mean, obviously, there's been subsequent to 1999, there's been a lot of good movies. Don't get me wrong. But movies generally, as a conglomerate, like you could go to a cinema in 1995 and there'd be like Jurassic Park, Shawshank Redemption, and there'd be kind of like there'd be like at least 4 big movies on, and those movies would become classics for decades to come, and what will continue to be decades to come. And it's kind of funny to think, because you didn't really think of it at the time, and nowadays you don't really have options like that, in my opinion, anyway.
Jay Will, they got 2-on-1. Jay Will, wrap around Miller, up with a lay-in. Good.
Go, taken away by Memphis. Chance to run. Lorenzen with the layup on the feed from Jason Williams. Active hand to hand, moving to kill. Williams sends it to Powell.
Grab by Jason Williams. Jason with a long pass up the floor. Oh, what a pass! Out of backcourt.
Williamson. Williams back in the front court. Nice blind pass to Weber.
Tips it to Jason. Kings break.
you know, it also makes me think? It also makes me think that like careers are short, man. You know, like what I mean. I know what I've watched a couple of Jason Williams videos recently, and he's obviously like he's the same age as me, pretty much. He's like 41, 42, and yeah, he can do the skills to some degree, but it's like, you know, I was, you know, my ambition was to be a basketball player, and if I had fulfilled that ambition, I'll be retired now, probably. I think with my kind of like hustle and like, you know, my sort of like Yorkshire origins and hustle and everything, I would have been able to kind of like maybe keep it going a bit longer, but pretty much my heyday.
4-on-3. Jason with a hesitation drive. No look pass. Weber. Power rip. It's stolen by Jason Williams. Williams breaks through a defender. Drop behind the head pass. A duel ahead. Way off target in the early attempts. Here's a great bounce feed. D-box from Jason Williams. Back to Jason Williams. No look pass.
Look at these guys get it up the floor. No look, and the layup is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
Pressure finds Jason Williams down the lane. No look dish left corner.
That's terrible.
He's got a little that pistol Pete Maravich in him. Doesn't he? The way he goes up in the air like that.
He's got a lot of it in him.
Jason Williams fakes the three, penetrates behind the head. No looker, low inside left to Thunderbird, who reverses and scores.
It's always very entertaining to watch Jason Williams play. It's just like he's a very, very gifted basketball player who goes sort of under the radar because of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Scottie Pippen, you know, Shaquille O'Neal, and everyone who's affiliated with the kind of like late 90s to early noughties kind of like basketball era. He goes a bit under the radar, but he was with that era. He was one of the best ones.
The sweetest it gets.
Deal. A lot of people felt that Atlanta got the better end of the deal, but you got to be patient. Cleaned up in the corner. Battier.
My goodness, he's come out on fire. Oh, look at the no-look pass. Howard with the throwdown.
That's a tough pass to catch.
A little white chocolate on a Wednesday night.
Followed through with the fake to the pass in the corner.
And Memphis Williams gets the dude that gets calling a foul on the Magic. You might have to slow this one down so you can get a good look at it.
Williams weaving, spinning. Massacre fires. Crowd wanted to erupt off a potential assist. It's 4 of 5 from home run range. Bob Sura's tripled 3 times. Good look from Jason Williams. Jason Williams, tremendous look inside. Person. Mark Bryant's pass never got to Sean Kemp. That high handoff from Jason Williams.
Jason Williams just waited for Weber.
I tell you, Cotton, this guy is amazing. I knew he was going to be good, but he's better than I thought.
The rebound. Williams.
Bounce pass. Yeah. But he put some mustard on that baby.
Oh, boy, what a pass by Jason Williams. Oh, great pass. Weber.
3 more minutes, and we'll get back to the chat.
Series
So,
what a pass.
just a couple more minutes of Jason Williams highlights.
If you shoot quick against this club, that's what they do. Udonis Haslam right now on the Spalding diet. He's gobbling up rebounds. Posey got fouled, bucket drop.
How about Jay Will? Look to his right, throws the defense for a second.
Look away pass from Williams.
And here come the Kings. Williamson. He's ahead of the field.
Wow. What a pass by Jason Williams.
Spins into the lane, double, feeds it out to Jason Williams. Jason back to Williamson, wide open. A great pass from Jason Williams, who backpedals up the floor, looking to the crowd for their accolades.
I think he's proud of himself.
Jason Williams kicks it out.
See, like when you're in that kind of like range, if you're in that kind of like talent zone, it's kind of all natural. So you don't really think about what you're doing. So kind of, I liken this sort of like play that Jason Williams has. And I know we've gone off the beaten track a little bit in terms of talking about basketball, because obviously we both know about basketball, so that's why we've done that. But like, you know, players like this, or whether they're football players or whatever, tennis players or whatever they are, athletics or, you know, gymnasts or whatever they are, you know, there's a certain sort of golden ratio that you can find yourself on. And I attribute that as well to sort of like when I DJ and stuff like that. So like my main talent is like DJing drum and bass, but unfortunately you can't DJ drum and bass as a profession without being a professional producer. which is what I'm sort of like putting my efforts into being at the moment. So it's unfortunate because like I don't really know many other I'm be happy to know like if anyone who's listening can suggest another area of like money earning or whatever, or talent or skill or whatever, where you can be good at one thing, but you can't just be good at that one thing, i.e. drum and bass DJing. You have to be good at another thing to get to that thing, i.e. drum and bass production. To be that drum and bass DJ, you can't just be a drum and bass DJ unless you have tits. And I don't fit those kind of requirements. So it's interesting because you kind of have to do like double the job. And that's typical, isn't it? I bloody chose a thing to be very, very good at where you need to do kind of like twice the work. So that's fucking...
Now Haslam again with a large lead as Jason Williams delivers to Shaq.
Cloud knocking it away. O'Brien didn't collect it. And Williams, that's a little white chocolate era Jason Williams. Behind the back pass to Doliev.
Smith wants a call. Williams looks ahead. Peters with the slam.
And Sacramento by 4. Oh, fancy pass. We know that from Jay Will. And he gets some moves and eyes from the crowd.
I see the creativity of Jason Williams, one of the more gifted all-around ball handlers to ever play in this league.
The right wing, crosses to the left, into the seam, looks off the defender. Behind the back, flip to Weber. Face-up jumper is good. Beautiful assist feed. Jason Williams.
That
a malfunction.
Let's just one second on that. That is a crazy play. I remember that play. I remember looking at
looks off the defender. Behind the back, flip to Weber. Face-up jumper is good. Beautiful assist.
It was all the way around, and then he fucks it up there. He fucks it up. Rescues it with intuition. Intuition rescues it.
Jason Williams. A malfunction. Oh, that's a great feed. Great pass. Williams with 50-foot bounce pass to Stojakovic.
Jason, you're telling. Look at this. Oh, behind the back to Stojakovic.
Unbelievable pass, Jason Williams. His court awareness is just mind-boggling.
Weber. Double team to Jason Williams. Back to Weber. Beautiful bounce pass by Jason Williams.
Sees it for going out of bounds. 4 on 3. Oh, what a play.
Right now we're back to action. A steal by Christie. Christie eludes the defender. Jason Williams behind the back bullet. Finger roll, lean in. Peja Stojakovic with a bucket. And I mean, Jason threw an absolute blinding behind the back bullet.
And Anderson with the defense he got back. Look out, 3 on 1. And Williams off the steal to Weber. Oh, boy. What a sequence that was.
This is from the corner. And we're going to check the score. It's the Prince driving in, and he is fouled.
All the great passers, they know where the trailer is. Yes. Now keep an eye as he makes the move and just kicks it right back. Beautiful execution.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Let me get rid of this. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Do you know what? I'm going to play a nice tune now when it's finished processing. And then I'm going to come back for like a few minutes and then just sort of finish up. So I'm going to play a tune now called Because You Are You by Jarrett Field. This is going to get me demonetized, but I don't care. So AJ, I hope you enjoy this one. This is a really nice, really nicely produced tune. I was going to play one of my own, but it seems to have disappeared from here because StreamYard is fucking weird. Anyway, I don't know if you've heard of Gyrofield Because You Are, but like, enjoy this one. I'm going to play this. It's about 5 minutes long, and then I will be back. But I will be listening to this as well. So, yeah, here we go. Okay, that's about it. Everything seems to be gone, so I'm going to end the stream here and chill for a little bit. Thank you for everyone who's been watching and tuning in. Like and subscribe as always, and I'll be back soon. I will learn how to do this better next time.